Cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
So Matthew, please explain me a foundational principle of Wing Chun.
Well, I think like most things, you know, in life, they have a foundation, which I thought was very interesting in Wing Chun when I first started learning it. The structure of the stance work, you know, and that sort of thing. I find that very interesting how not many people when people think about fighting, they don't think about how important the structure and the stance work would be. And I found it very interesting when I first started learning Wing Chun how important that is, you know, to be rooted, to not get pushed over, because everything just works better when you're more balanced. You have more control over yourself, more control over your opponent. I also find the Centerline principle very, very interesting and effective as well, in the sense that it's a very effective way of manipulating your opponent's body, getting control of them, also knowing how easily you can control your opponent by having a knowledge of their centerline. You also need to be wary of them trying to control your centerline and protecting your centerline as well. Also the bodily mechanics, you know, not flaring your elbow out past the yum yum yum. I think that's a very important principle to think of as well, because I think, you know, you lose quite a lot of power when your arms flare out past the yum yum, and I think it definitely affects your structure in a negative way. So yeah, I think that the stance, the structure, the just everything about centerline and structure, I think those are the most interesting principles to me in Wing Chun that I've learned. And I think the only other one, I don't know if this is a principle. I guess it is. You know, not letting energy get stuck. You know, letting it flow, using the energy and redirecting it. Because the moment you use force against force, it's just energy against energy. It doesn't flow through your body. And the moment that's very interesting in Wing Chun. You learn how to absorb the energy and redirect it for your offense, obviously, as well. And it's so interesting because I think it's the only martial art that really does that. You're able to take energy and use that energy for your advantage. That's why I think obviously it's very effective. It's very effective for anyone, but especially for smaller people against bigger opponents, because you can use all of that energy and redirect it against them. And I think it's very unique to the martial art and very interesting. It takes a long time to obviously master using that, but very interesting and very effective.
Thank you, Matthew. That was very well explained. Reflection and looking forward. How would you reflect on your journey thus far? So, what have you learned, and what do you find challenging? What is your next goal in Wing Chun?
So obviously I'm aware of the fundamentals now, balance, absorbing energy, you know, chi. I'm aware of those things, but you know, it's just now about learning about. Obviously, it's a long journey, and like you said, when you start, you make progress quite quickly, and then after that, the progress becomes less and less noticeable because it becomes about smaller things, you know. So you know, I've obviously still got a lot to learn, but I suppose now I need to focus on the more meticulous things, the finer details, which obviously make the world of difference, you know, making sure that my time cell gets better, my bone cell gets better, all of the fundamental moves, you know. It's just about focusing on the small things that improve the basics and the fundamentals, and I suppose that takes an incredibly long time to learn, but yeah, that's what I'm going to try to do, just carry on getting better with the fundamentals.
And that's reflection.
Yeah.
And how do you see this Wing Chun improve your everyday life?
Yes, no, for sure. It definitely has a very profound effect on your everyday life. It depends, obviously, how you interpret it. You know, for some people, maybe they wouldn't see the value, but if you are aware if you can see how the principles in Wing Chun apply to real life, then I think it can be very effective. You know, for example, you initially faced with a difficult problem, you don't know how to fix it, and then in Wing Chun you see there is a way, and you can apply that to real life as well. I think lots of times in our lives, you know, we're faced with a problem and we think, oh, how am I ever going to solve this problem? But I guess in Wing Chun, I felt that feeling so many times, and I know that I eventually overcame it. So I think taking that into real life is a very effective and profound thing to do. Also, another thing that I think you can apply from Wing Chun to real life is they place a massive emphasis on structure, right? And I think it's just like a house, you know, you can't build a house on sand, you need to have a solid structure. Nothing is going to work without with a bad structure. It needs good fundamentals. If you're going to learn anything or build anything, it needs to have good fundamentals. And I think taking those principles and applying them to real life, it can be very beneficial. I think having the knowledge of that.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew, very much. And congratulations again to your Wing Chun Level 1 assessment.
Thank you so much.
Very, very well done.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Really
very proud.
appreciate it. Thank you, Sifu.